Good evening, everyone. Today is Tuesday, November 12th, 2024, and this is a regular meeting of the Zoning Board of Adjustment. Chairman Avalone, can you please call this meeting to order?
I'd be happy to. This meeting is being held in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided to the Coaster and Asbury Park Press by publication of the annual meeting notice and posted on the municipal bulletin board and municipal website. All notices are on file with the board secretary. Official action may be taken on the following matters before this board, and I ask everyone with a cell phone to please mute it for the duration of this meeting, and this meeting is being recorded by APTV. Roll call, Marie.
Wendy Glassman. Here. Daniel Harris.
Here.
Russell Lewis.
Here.
Natalie Passerini.
Here.
Jill Potter.
Here.
Tim Slick.
Here.
Vice Chair Scully.
Here.
And Chairman Avalone.
Here. Okay, just one housekeeping issue. I make a motion to approve, or adopt rather, the resolution for 1201 Bridge Street.
I'll second.
Who second?
Dan.
Okay, Daniel Harris. Okay, eligible board members are Daniel Harris,
Yes.
Jill Potter,
Yes.
Tim Slick,
Yes.
Wendy Glassman,
Yes.
Natalie Passerini,
Yes.
and Chairman Avalone.
Yes. All right, and we're getting back to 1118 Summerfield Avenue. Ms. Sager. Hi, please come up. I'll remind you, you're still under oath,
Yes. Thank you.
unless Mr. Beekman wants to re-oath you.
Nope, that's fine. She said yes.
All right, please begin.
Okay.
Maybe if we could just have a recap?
Yes.
Since it was a couple of weeks since you were last here.
So we had gone through the plans for the addition for her mother. If you recall, this was the addition here, and we had
You were here last time, correct?
Yes,
Mr.
I
Nolan?
was.
Yeah,
Yes.
I just want to remind everybody that you're the architect.
Yes.
Or are you the architect of these drawings, or is someone else the architect of these drawings?
I'm representing as the architect.
Mr.
Someone in my
Savarese
office-
is the architect, is that correct?
Correct.
So you are just representing Mr. Savarese?
Correct.
All right, I just wanted to clarify that.
Yes.
And just to clarify, you were also sworn at the last hearing,
I was,
correct?
yes.
And you understand you're under oath as
Yes,
well?
I do.
And I just want to clarify, the
Let's swear.
notices, are they correct?
Notices are fine. I did review those, and they're acceptable.
All right, thank you,
For
Mr. Beekman.
jurisdiction. And why don't we swear in Jerry and Donna as well? You swear or affirm that any testimony you'll provide this evening will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
All right. Sorry to interrupt you,
No, it's
Mr. Nolan.
okay. If you recall, this was the addition that we were trying to have approved for her mother to stay on the premises with her, because she needs to care for her closely with her medical situation. And as of the last meeting, one of the sticking points was the fence along this driveway and the width of this driveway. And we were asked to add some additional parking, which we're proposing in the back here with an additional curb cut and 2 parking spaces, as well as there was a question about the HVAC system, if she was going to put in air conditioning unit. So we proposed, I can show you more on the plans later, but we proposed a side entrance and a condenser unit here, which is in the setback, which we would need to discuss as one of the variance items. Since the meeting, this fence has been removed. We were in contact with the owner. It wasn't clear whose fence it was.
Oh, he didn't know either, she didn't know?
Yeah, but it has been taken down, and he has written that he's fine with that. So this section is taken down.
He has written.
Yeah,
Do you have some
we have
document?
it in an email.
What do you mean he
I
has
believe,
written? You can't say he has written unless we have that document.
Okay,
Mr.
I thought that you guys were copied on. So we have his consent to that fence.
Well, we need to see that consent then, Mr. Nolan.
Okay.
But the fence is gone as of now?
Yes, and we have some pictures to show for it.
Do you have a copy of the email?
That's what I was going to ask him. I mean, we do.
as a third party, you can't really represent what a neighbor has said.
Sure. Okay.
Speaker, swear me in.
Can
It's a little bit more complicated than
Yes.
this here, so that's why, so, I was the one that spoke to them.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
do you want to swear my associate in from?
Mr. Beekman, how do we proceed with this?
I mean, you're asking the question, do you want her to swear in now, or we come back to it? We can come back to it.
Let's come back to it.
Okay.
Okay. So here's pictures of the fence that was removed. And the remaining fence is along his property. Obviously, we didn't touch the rest of the fence that's on his property.
Maria, are these photos in part of the record?
Yeah, for that as well,
Okay.
if I could enter those.
Those, no.
Do you know where you left off at the last hearing?
I will tell you in 1 second.
If you have any exhibits?
These need to be entered.
Are they the same photos?
Same photos as this board, correct?
I think we got as far as Exhibit A2,
So these are going to be A3?
the A3.
What were A1, 1, and 2?
So, A2 was the survey of the property, and A1 was a site plan.
Okay.
With existing and proposed side-by-side photos.
All right, so we have an updated site plan. So since we marked the initial site plan, why don't we mark A3, the updated site plan that was submitted in advance? Can you just read for us for the record the original date as well as the last revision date of the site plan?
Of the drawings that we prepared, the original date was 6/14 of this year, and then it was revised on the 29th of last month, per the comments from last meeting.
Wait,
Okay. That's why I asked the question to you guys earlier.
Yes.
I don't have that.
That's part of the record that Marie sent everyone last week. So the email that Marie sent last week,
With all the
that's
attachments.
the date that it had.
The revision date on the plans that were distributed to the professionals is 10/24.
Okay.
So I don't know what the difference between 10/24.
I don't believe we had a drawing with the date 10/24.
They're right in front of me.
Yeah.
That
Donna was
what
looking at 'em.
distributed to us.
Could they have been the same?
Are you representing, Mr. Nolan, that these are different than what was submitted to the board?
Not to my knowledge.
Can I ask?
No,
I can explain.
no,
She did send everything over.
Yes.
no, stop. Mr. Nolan,
Yes.
what are you representing?
I'm representing what we're presenting here.
That's not what we have.
Okay.
What do the board members have?
Whatever Donna has.
Is this the same? Please look at this. We need to be on the same page here.
Yeah, and
I'm sorry.
absolutely.
No, that's the
Yeah.
site plan prepared by our engineer. Organized.
There's six
So that's
procedure
just a date from
sheets
this.
set
All right,
prepared
That's
by,
6/24.
hang on.
Okay.
I have a 6-sheet set of plans prepared by MSA Architects.
Yeah.
The original date,
This is the engineering plan is dated 10/24.
Right, that's right.
Yes.
But your architectural plans do not have the,
says 10/24.
Architectural, correct?
Yeah, MSA.
Yeah. And you have 1029. When did you download yours? Was that from Marie's email last week? Yeah, that's the one I looked at too, and that's why I compared your reports. So
So what's the set that was on file 10 days before the meeting?
So the set that you're saying is 1029, is there a 1024 date on that?
No, there is not.
What's the date before the 1029 date?
It was for the last hearing. It was dated, well, this is the one that was used for the last hearing. It was dated June 14th.
So the last revision at the last hearing
I mean,
was June
6th,
14th?
sorry. No, June 14th.
June 14th? Okay. So here's what I suggest. Let's give them a few minutes to look at the two plans and see if there's any difference.
I can't accept that,
Because-
Mr. Beekman.
Well, if there's not a difference, then we can go by the 1024 plan.
But Donna hasn't reviewed it, right?
No, she
No,
reviewed the
1024
1024 plan.
Yeah, okay.
But my question is, what was the file, what was the set that was on file 10 days before the meeting? The public has not seen, perhaps, what I have seen.
Right.
What the board has seen.
Right. So, Marie, what do you have in your records?
Here we go. So my email from Marie to me, Sam, Jerry's office, was forwarded from, good afternoon, please find the attached revised architectural engineering plans. Sager, 118 Summerfield Avenue, Asbury Park revision for variance meeting, 24/10/24 is the name of the PDF.
And what was the date of that?
10/24.
So you got it the same day?
Yeah. And this is from Robin McCarthy?
On Tuesday, October
And then-
29th, Donna, we got an email from Tammy, and that was Tuesday, October 29th. There's PDF files attached. I'm scrolling through all the old emails.
Okay, but this is what you sent me to review as revised plans. 10/29. There were some emails that went back and forth about escrow. There was conversation about how there was no coordination with our office to do, before the revisions were made. That's the notice.
All right, I'm going to make a motion to take a 10-minute recess. Somebody needs to figure this out, otherwise we're going to reschedule this meeting.
A second.
I need to.
Second, okay, so. All in favor of the break?
Yes.
Yeah.
Opposed? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Wendy Glassman?
Here.
Daniel Harris?
Here.
Russell Lewis?
Here.
Natalie Passerini?
Here.
Jill Potter?
Here.
Tim Slick? Vice Chair Scully?
Here.
And Chairman Avaloni.
Here. All right, so hopefully we've resolved the situation. Let's see if we can get it all corrected on record. Mr. Nolan, you would like to bring up your associate? Yes, please.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And if you can state your name for the record?
Sure. My name is Tammy Karen. I'm the managing partner and owner of MSA Architects.
And how do you spell your last name?
My last name is spelled Caron.
Ms. Karen, are you an architect yourself?
I'm not a licensed architect. I do have.
What are your credentials?
I am actually a certified zoning certificate from the state of New Jersey. I have over 20 years' experience both with architectural, engineering, and construction firms within the state of New Jersey. I manage the operations of our company. I'm qualified to be a zoning officer, sit on the zoning board, the planning board.
But you're not a zoning
but
officer?
I am not, no, but I maintain the credentials to be so.
Okay, thank you.
So what I can offer, just as a summary to recap from last meeting to this meeting, as you know, there was quite a bit of conversation last meeting concerned with the fence being on the neighbor's property.
Well, before we get too deep into that,
Yep.
there's a question about the plans and the dates of the plans.
Yeah.
Let's stick to that
Okay.
because if this board doesn't believe that the changes are immaterial, then we have to carry this matter. And I don't want to get too far into
Could you please come
testimony.
closer to the mic so that they can get you on record?
Yes. So I'm not going to go into the details of the fence, but it's crucial as to why we're updating the plans. So if you recall, as we left the last meeting, there was a number of items that you wanted us to address, and you had strongly encouraged us to work with Donna Miller and her team to try to get that finalized prior to this meeting. We had actually prepared plans that were dated 10/24 that I gotten delivered to your office.
Okay, so you're giving us a listing
Right.
of events. Tell us what the differences are, Ms. Garrett.
So the differences after it got delivered is I noticed that the way it was presented on the title sheet only, there was a couple of, for example, when you look at the total impervious coverage, I think on the original one, he didn't have the percentage. He only had like the square footage of 911 subtotaled. So I had my staff add the percentage. So that way someone didn't have to try to calculate whether it was under or over. It was more just like visual updates, so that would be easier, I thought, for the board to relate to. So that, for example, was added. In addition, on the top part of the zoning chart, the way that he initially had presented what variances were needed, it had changed from the first meeting. So in an effort to try to make it less confusing for the second meeting, I had suggested that we just make some changes on the title sheet only to what was shaded as far as for what was being proposed. Because in the first meeting, there was no side yard setback requirements on the right side of the house. But now, as a result of us adding in the AC unit condenser in the side entryway, there was. Hence why we had to do another notice, and it couldn't be that we had to renotice. I was only trying to just clarify and try to make it easier. Apparently, during the transition of updating the sheets and working with Chris Ann and your staff members, there must have been some confusion, which I can understand why, and I apologize for that. But we actually were trying to make it easier, and as a result of the time constraints, I guess some people got the 1029 and some people got the 1024. The actual architectural plans themselves, to my understanding, there are no changes. It was basically just title sheet changes that were done more so for visually and to try to help it make it easier for everyone to follow along. That is what I recall.
So the plot plan and the site plan, there were no changes to those
Doesn't appear.
No.
between 1024 and 1029?
Yeah.
I just flipped through all pages
Yeah.
and compared them.
I mean, look, these
Either
things,
it comes down to whether we accept what Ms. Karen is saying.
correct.
That's all we can base
Correct.
it on, right? So,
And the
I think
notice.
you're gonna need to take a vote on that.
Yeah, so the notice matches the relief that they're requesting. The plan, whether it's 1029 or 1024, the plan itself matches the relief that they're requesting. So, Marie, why don't we take a roll call vote from the board members to determine whether they're in agreement or not in agreement, whether these changes are immaterial.
And just for clarification, it's just this little block of shading, that's the only changes that were.
And the additional square footage percentage.
If you
And the
look at,
variances.
on the title sheet where it says total impervious coverage, on the first sheet, it only said 911 square feet. And on the revised sheet, I added 28.91% next to it, so that way you knew the that percentage. So like, some people, it's not easy for them just to like kind of do the math. And so if you want to know, like, we just added, it's just a pet peeve of mine, so.
But nothing in the drawing has changed, it was the grids
It was more the
themselves.
zoning chart, more for visually, yes. It was, I had made some changes for presentation wise, yes.
And who signed off on your changes?
Who signed off on my changes?
Did an architect sign off on your changes?
Yes, so these are obviously, these particular drawings were assigned by Michael Savarese.
He signed off on whatever you changed on the
Correct.
original drawings?
Yes.
Okay.
Wendy Glassman.
I'm not sure which way to vote, it's immaterial.
Immaterial, yeah, that's a good way of doing it.
Okay. So you said
Immaterial.
immaterial. Okay. Daniel Harris.
Immaterial.
Russell Lewis.
Immaterial.
Natalie Passerini. Jill Potter.
Immaterial.
Tim Slick.
Immaterial.
Vice Chair Scully.
Immaterial.
And Chairman Avalone.
Unanimous.
Got it.
Thank you, Ms. Karen.
Thank you.
22 feet over.
So sorry for all that, Mr. Nolan.
that's okay.
We had a little brouhaha.
I
but-
understand.
So I don't even know where we were.
Yeah.
You may want to start over.
Okay. So we were talking about the fence, I guess, and the driveway, because that was one of the biggest issues last time was the fact that part of her driveway is past the property line. And the fence here has been removed. And this portion of driveway has not been removed yet, but will be removed for when she puts in the additional driveway. She was hoping to relocate a lot of that gravel so she wouldn't have to repurchase as much possibly. Here's the pictures again.
What's going to be done with the cutout of the curb?
That we were hoping to leave at this point because it was outside of her property line and she had, I believe, permits to do it, whether they were reviewed or not properly at the time. We're kind of stuck with it now.
How does that work?
Donna, can you
Yeah,
comment on this?
I'm not quite sure how that.
I mean, I can't speak to the,
She had spent a lot of money to have that put in.
Yeah, but that's now two.
yeah, we typically don't permit two driveways serving one use, even when it's on two frontages. And the curb cut wouldn't lead to a legal parking space. So that would also be, disfavored.
Right, which is what I'm getting at. So you have
Yeah.
two curb cuts.
So, the city's position would be, you get one,
Right.
make the most of it. Not likely that, two would be,
But we certainly can't agree to two curb cuts.
well, so the objection to the one on Summerfield is going to be that if it remains, there's the opportunity for parking to occur in the front yard of the property.
Right.
Which is, not a permitted condition unless you have a garage, right, offset 5 feet from the front
Right.
building line. And we're not proposing that. And some of the other changes that they've made to the plan since last meeting put more obstructions in what was their driveway.
Right.
So they wouldn't be able to pull a car straight
All the way to
into
the back.
backyard.
Yes.
So, that's why we would,
So who would be responsible for fixing the curb, though?
well, this is part of her development application. She's putting on an addition, she's doing the deck.
Yeah.
She wants the other driveway now. So, because, through whatever mechanism of who was not right about allowing the driveway to exist on the side of the house, like, you can't have it on someone else's property.
Right.
If you can park on your own property, then fine. Or if you can pass through the side of the building to the backyard on your own property, that's fine. There are a lot of driveways in town that are not 10 feet wide. But they go to the back of the house and that's where you turn around and you park and whatever. That's where the garage is. So, the city's position is basically we're not in favor of having two, and the one you're not.
Well, I don't think you're going to have the board agree to two, right?
So the one you're not going to use should be closed up.
Yes.
Yeah, it should be restored so that there's on-street parking available.
Exactly.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm just thinking money of going.
Well, so tell us some of the other changes that you've made to the plan since last time. So you're still keeping the addition, you're
Yes.
still keeping the deck,
Yes.
but now you've
We have
added an
the
HVAC
condenser unit
condenser.
here and a
Okay.
side entry so she would possibly not have to disturb her mother. She can go into the side, park back here and walk into the side of the house over here. And then inside, if you recall, last time we had a hatch down to the existing cellar. We revised the interior to now have a staircase access down to the cellar area. So we could reuse that for mechanical if needed for the HVAC units. heating system. But otherwise, the floor plan hasn't changed.
So how big is this, the platform and the steps on the side?
The platform is 3'6" by about 4 feet wide, and then including the stairs, it's 7'4" from the edge of the platform to the bottom of the first riser.
And it's 4.5 feet from the property.
I believe so. Yes.
And those are the changes outside of the
And then
new driveway.
the new
off of,
driveway.
Prospect.
Awesome.
Yes.
And can you talk about the arrangement of that as well, the size, the configuration?
Yes, this would be basically 18 by 18, so 2 parking spots at 9 by 18. And a little bit of a pathway here. We spoke with our client earlier, if we had to replant this whole area, that would be acceptable too, and once she can move the gravel within the, adding the driveway in the back, or the parking area in the back.
So the spaces are just right at the property line, a parking pad,
Correct.
pull in, back out into Prospect.
Correct.
And then a little gravel walkway, is that it? Or is it concrete or connecting to the new steps?
I'm not sure what the materials would be, but that would be either gravel or pavers.
We need to know what it is because that's going to determine what the impervious coverage is.
Right, I mean, it's counted either way, so it's gravel.
It's shown as gravel.
But.
Okay. And that was included in your calculations?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
Okay, and so what was the rationale behind the size of the deck and the dimensions of the deck?
It was just to continue the line of the house, basically, and try to maximize the space off the back.
I need to understand the rationale of moving the staircase to the side of the house, off the bedroom. I'm a little confused as...
Oh, it's not off the bedroom. It's
not off the
It's off the kitchen.
Off the kitchen, okay.
So you don't have to go through the bedroom.
Bedroom.
This is the staircase here.
Okay, so it's just sort of a personal preference to maintain that line along the is that southerly property line? Is that the southerly? Thank you, Jerry.
This is where
Yeah.
We're on that weird angle.
So we basically lined the west and east.
they're just
with
showing
the
it
addition.
on the second floor. That's why it's throwing me off. That should not be there.
So they have to walk around the AC unit to get to those steps on the side?
You have to walk next to it, yeah.
What's the width of the curb cut going to be on Prospect?
It would be, I know the parking spots are 18 by 18. Does he have a dimension? You're talking about at the curb itself?
Right.
There's no dimension on here, but it looks like it flares out like an additional 6 feet or so.
So that's problematic. You want to minimize the opening of the street to allow for as much on-street parking as possible. So if you had a 1 foot flare on each end,
Okay.
and you made it 20 feet, if that's acceptable to you, I think that would be acceptable.
Yeah, that would be acceptable.
Jerry, you don't have any issue with the location of that flare?
No.
Doesn't impact any adjoining properties?
It may not even really be needed, but it's helpful.
Okay.
So it's the standard.
Yeah, I just want to make sure it doesn't impact any neighboring properties.
No, it doesn't.
Okay. Mr. Nolan?
Yes.
What does your client say about the board's comment about closing off the curb cut on Summerfield?
I'm sure she's not crazy about doing it just for the cost, but I'm sure she'll.
Well, you're going to be opening up a curb cut on Prospect, so whoever's doing that is going to be there to do that.
Yes, so, yeah, she'll do that.
So it may not be as bad as you think,
Right.
because you have to continue the sidewalk. I don't know when it was poured, if there's a joint, you know if there's a joint?
There is a joint.
Okay, so they can leave the sidewalk alone. Okay, they just have to take out a piece of concrete from the edge of the sidewalk to the curb.
Down to here.
And then there's
And
a
level the curb.
level of curb up. So you're gonna need a little bit of curb and a little bit of, no, you're just gonna be taking concrete away. So it's not as bad as it might
Right.
be.
And then planting some grass along the shade tree, which was also, we didn't bring up that, the street tree was added here.
The one right in front.
Yes. That could be positioned, to suit wherever works
You can
best.
slide one, you can slide over, that wouldn't be a problem.
Okay.
As long as it's in your frontage of your property.
Okay.
The street tree's not there, right? That'll just be
It's not-
landscaping? That'll just be
It's not in
grass?
currently. Yeah. Shot in the front, I think too. This doesn't show it all the way. There were pictures that we had last time that showed the whole front of the house, but yeah, there's no tree there now. But we're proposing to put it in.
And I think if I saw correctly from the last hearing, you'll agree to work with the Shade Tree Commission to address the proper type of tree?
Yes.
Okay.
Any further questions from the board for Mr. Nolan?
Didn't we have concerns about the bedroom last meeting as being an SRO?
I believe you did. But we don't, we're not proposing any kitchen or any other. It's just the one kitchen here and a private guest room for her mother in the back.
The other thing the board brought up last time, if I remember right, is considering a basement for storage, or maybe a bigger crawl space, or is that something you thought about? or-
We did, but for budgetary reasons, we just wanted to do a crawl space.
Okay.
And the mechanicals are no longer in the crawl space? Are they going to be
Well-
part of the regular basement?
We're moving the washing, the laundry is going to be up in the closet here with the stackable washer dryer, leaving more space for, equipment to remain or be added
Like
downstairs.
the hot water heater?
Yes.
But that's in the regular basement, not the crawl space?
Yeah, it's in a basement
Just
space.
making sure, putting it
That's,
up.
yeah, 6'2" head height. It's not a habitable basement, but it's
And now you don't need the hatch to get down there because you got the stairs.
correct.
So, I'm gonna go back to the deck. So there's a way to eliminate, well, two variances actually. If the deck were reconfigured to provide the correct amount of setback on that property line, and the AC unit is moved to the back of the deck, 5 foot off the property line, that would be complying. So we'd have a complying setback for the deck and a complying setback for the AC unit in the rear yard. If they, change the dimensions of the deck.
Ms. Sager, would you be amenable to that?
I would say yes. Would love that.
So now when you're taking the AC unit from there around the back?
Putting it here,
No, all the way around.
Okay, I thought she was saying.
Well, I mean, you can switch it with the steps,
Yeah,
or, that's sort of part two to my thought here. But yeah, if you move it to the back of the deck, either in the side of the notch or however that's going to get reconfigured, so long as it's 5 feet off that side property line, we'll eliminate a variance.
you're talking about taking this deck this way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Edge of that, yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
And then you can put the AC unit condenser there.
And the AC has to be to the 6, what is it?
It has to be 5 feet from the property line.
Okay.
So,
We can do that.
and to Ms. Potter's point about the previous concern about the potential SRO use of the downstairs bedroom. Having the exterior stair come into the kitchen just sort of reinforces that concern. Having the steps off the deck that go into that bedroom reinforce that concern. If we eliminate the steps off the deck so that it acts more like a balcony attached to that room, that kind of helps, I think,
Eliminates the concept.
A little bit.
I understand. Again, is that something you'd be
Ideally, I'd
amenable?
rather have, the floor plan flipped a little bit or some kind of
I
tweak.
thought we suggested that the last
Yeah.
time, to consider moving things around so that they weren't, or we weren't looking at the possibility of an SRO.
That's a short-term rental, is that what you guys, what's an
Single room
SRO?
occupancy. So is history in the city of people just renting out bedrooms. And it has been problematic.
Long-term and short-term.
Okay.
Yep, and the issue is, if this passes, it goes with the house, it doesn't stop with you, right? It doesn't cease with the sale of the home. So we're always looking at that future.
And the way the floor plan is, configured right now, it's very easy to just shut off that bedroom from the rest of the house. And it has its own private access and, that's the concern that we always have in the back of our minds. So since you haven't taken steps to change that floor plan layout, we're trying to find ways to, just again, protect the city.
She agreed that she could get rid of these steps because her mom's not in a condition that she's gonna be going up down the stairs anyway. So if it makes you guys, the board, more comfortable.
Well, I mean, we're hopeful that it's not just mom that's using the deck.
Right, yeah.
Household should
No,
use the deck,
but
but
if
you're
that's-
making everybody walk through the bedroom to
Yeah,
get to
Yeah.
the deck.
bedroom, no one's, yeah.
So, so anyway, so those are the two suggestions I have for eliminating variances and hopefully maybe, putting a roadblock to the future.
If Ms. Sager is amenable,
Yes,
okay.
absolutely. I appreciate the one less variance. Thank you.
So just so I can clarify those couple items. The AC unit is going to be relocated to be on the rear and at least 5 foot from a side and rear yard property lines. The rear deck shall be modified to comply with the side yard setback on the east side,
I believe that was the east side, yes.
right? On the east side?
Yes.
East, south,
Yes, this is north, so that's east.
The rear stairs shall be removed from the deck and the deck will have railings
Correct.
all the way around.
Yes.
Yeah, just your first comment. The side yard setback, not rear.
I said side and rear
for the AC, yeah.
for the AC?
I mean, the rear yard's along the
I mean,
way, but,
in case they want to put it further back, they have to understand they still have to comply with the rear.
They're pretty far away.
Yeah, it'd be a long way away, but
you don't want to do
So
a light set that long.
yeah.
I think the last thing to discuss would be stormwater management. Is that correct, Jerry?
Yeah, well, at the last meeting, we brought that up, collecting the rainwater off the roof and gutters. And having that put into a dry well on the side.
Yes, that's proposed to be back here, the dry well here.
I just wanted to put that on the record.
Yes, that is there.
And any further questions for Mr. Nolan? Board professionals, any further questions for Mr. Nolan? Or Ms. Sager?
Well, everybody, so the fencing, which picture, what are we doing? So there's no fence in the front?
The fence here is removed along the driveway.
Okay, but what about in front of the house? Because that was in the right of way, so that needs to also be removed.
This fence here?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's not on your property, it's in the
It's in the
city's right
city's
of way.
right of way.
Oh, I actually didn't realize that. I thought it was just the side. The front of the house is not on my property either?
The house is, but the fence is.
Your porch steps just about end at the property line. And then everything else is in the city right of way.
Yeah, the
can
sidewalk
go
is
to-
not in the right of way. The sidewalk is.
You
in
would
the
have to
right
get
of way.
agreement from the council, and they would have to give you an easement for that,
It's a license.
or a license.
Yeah.
Right?
This is the edge of your property line right here. But the heavy line,
Yeah.
and then the fence we're talking about is here. So that would need to be removed.
Okay. That iron fence is here?
Yeah.
Sure.
Here's your steps. And as he said, see how they wind up right at the edge of your property line there? And then this
So
fence
the
is
fence
out
is-
like 6 or so feet.
Wow. Okay. Don't think I caught that last time.
So a lot of people don't realize where that, imaginary line, right?
Right.
So when we find them though, we
Try to get.
have them removed.
Okay. That's easy.
Okay, so that's that fence. And now the fence all the way back, which other fences were removed?
The side.
This section of fence here was removed. That, the one that went over the property line.
Okay,
These
and what-
remain here because they were on the other property.
Okay, and then what about that far south property line?
Over here?
Yes. Because that's also off your property, or are those not yours either?
Yeah, it looks like,
Okay.
yeah, they're off. This one here is on. This
So
side.
where that fence intersects with where your new driveway is going,
This here. Yes, that's going to be removed. Yes. Is that all already removed?
It is all enclosed.
and then the other end as well.
Yeah, this portion will be removed for,
Right, so you
obviously
just
we
need
can't
to make
remove
sure that
anything else that's on,
the
off her
terminations-
property. Right.
That your neighbor's fence, if it's your neighbor's fence, isn't just gonna be,
Yeah,
Rolling
oh,
over.
that they'll be supported, of course.
It looks like your existing fence in your backyard on the east side is actually well onto your property. So if you're going to redo your fencing, you may be able to pick up a little extra space for yourself there, so. I don't know how to put the fence up for the property owner, but they're all over the place.
they are all over the place. Okay, so you're going to take out sections of the fence associated with where the new driveway is going to be, but maintain everything else
Off.
except for
As
in the
far
right
as-
of way in the front and the other sides, okay.
Correct.
Any further questions, Donna? Once we complete with Mr. Nolan and Ms. Sager, we need to bring back Ms. Karen for the, whatever statement was written by the neighbor.
Jeff, do you have?
Wait,
Oh, I thought you were bringing.
no, not yet. Not yet. Is it, unless there's, the professionals, any further questions? No? Anybody on the board for Mr. Nolan?
No, thank you.
Ms. Sager? Okay. Anybody in the public for Mr. Nolan or Ms. Sager? Seeing none? Thank you. All right, so let's bring up Ms. Karen again. And my understanding is you were the one talking to the next door neighbor?
Yes.
So Mrs. Sager never spoke to the next door neighbor?
No, immediately after the meeting, Ms. Sager, if you recall, she's a travel agent. She's typically out of the country, so she immediately left.
So you were acting as her attorney?
No, I did not act as her attorney. I basically sent a letter to the property owner of the lot next door, which is under an LLC, F2997 Lafayette LLC. I got it off the 200-foot list because obviously we had no phone number or any way, don't know
And
who
who
they are.
did you speak with?
So first I sent them a certified letter, and I explained that we recently had gone in front of the board. It was brought to her attention, the property owner's attention, that somehow along the way, unbeknownst to her, prior owner had accidentally put the fence onto their property. The board had instructed her that she needed to correct it. She was concerned, although no one else seemed to agree, that it was not her fence, but she was under the impression she didn't feel comfortable taking down the fence without at least letting the property owner know, in the rare event that it was their fence. So I sent them a letter explaining that we were recently in front of the board, that we were due to go back to the board in another month, and that she would feel better just letting them know that what she wanted to do. They received the letter. I immediately then, the following Monday, received an email back from a gentleman by the name of Ken Rickle. He said, I am the manager for the properties of F2997 Lafayette LLC, and I'm the principal of the LLC, copied on this email. And I have CC'd the principal of the LLC on this email. In regards to your request for the driveway and the fence issue, can you forward us a cleaner copy of the survey of March 2024? We're going to visit the property this weekend and look at the situation in person, and we will reply to you earlier in the week. We hope that makes this easy as possible for you and your client. Then there was another follow-up email. I had said, thank you, attaches the copy of the most recent land survey that was prepared. My client was under the impression that maybe the fence was yours, but I don't think so. I assumed it was installed by a prior owner prior to she purchasing the property. If you need me to meet you out there while you're in town, let me know. Depending upon when you go, I'll be able to meet you. He responds back, the city planner and attorney made it clear to your client, so obviously they must have had some conversation with someone here on the board at the meeting last week, that the fence belongs to her, as it is the same fence type of material that runs on other parts of her property. We did not have it installed. But again, we're hoping to make this as easy as possible for your client. We appreciate the offer to come out and meet us, but it's really not necessary. We will only be there for a couple of minutes, Ken. So it's my understanding that they went out there, and that they had no issue removing the fence. The fence was then, she only had the money, and of course she's dealing with all this overseas, so she had arranged to have a contractor. I said it would probably be a good idea to show good faith of effort prior to the meeting if possible, to at least remove a small section that's currently on the neighbor's property to show that you are making a good effort to try to deal with the fence issue, although she was out of the country.
So Ken, let me understand this. Ken Rickle, who's a real estate agent here in Asbury, he's acting as a manager of the property?
It's required to assess.
It's an LLC.
But we don't know who the owner of the property is.
No one has, I sent this to the 200-foot list, the tax property owner that you have on there, the LLC. I tried to look up online, there's just a Brooklyn address, it doesn't say who it is. So I sent the letter to there and they responded. He did CC, I don't know if there's another person CC'd on the email. I mean, at the end of the day, Howard Friedman, I don't know.
So he probably is the principal.
I mean, at the end of the day, if it's her friends, right?
Well, they're disavowing that
regardless,
it's theirs.
right? Whether
they
they like
know.
it or not. Like, if it's her fence and you want it down, then all due respect, it doesn't really matter whether they want to or not. But she just felt more, she felt bad. She doesn't want to have a rift with her neighbor. So I said, as a courtesy to you, we'll just write a letter on your behalf, just letting them know. So in the event they wanted to come to the meeting or voice any concern or say, oh, no, wait a minute, that's my
Jeff,
fence.
do you have any concerns with how this was handled?
I really don't.
Yeah.
I mean, because at the end of the day, it's a civil matter between her and the neighbor.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with the board itself. I would say this, that if it was the neighbor's fence, They have a accessory structure without a principal structure, so that's probably a violation of the zoning ordinance anyway. So I don't necessarily have a problem with it. The fence is gone. We've actually, the concern was rectified, whether it was done properly or not. That's not really the board's concern at this point.
Can we enter that into the record as a?
I just did.
Okay. Any questions for Ms. Karen? Board professionals? Yes, no? Anyone in the public for Ms. Karen, for whatever her testimony has been tonight? Seeing none, moving on. We now open it up to public comment. Seeing nobody in the public, we close public comment and we deliberate. Unless, Ms. Sager, you have some final words that you would like us to hear from you.
I don't, but thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Great. So, anybody on the board for comment further?
I like all the changes and upgrades. Thank you for listening to us, and I would approve the application.
Yeah, I agree.
Would anyone like me to review what we went through real quickly? Just so it's on the record at the end of the hearing here.
As soon as we make a motion to approve it.
So, the curb cut on Prospect shall have a flare of no more than 1 foot. The curb cut on Summerfield shall be removed, as well as the apron up to the sidewalk and replaced with grass. Applicant agreed to install a street tree and work with the Shade Tree Commission for the location and the type along Summerfield. The addition with the bedroom shall not have any kitchen or efficiency systems. The AC unit will be relocated on to the rear and at least 5 feet from side yard and rear yard setbacks. The rear deck shall be modified to comply with the side yard setback on the east side. The rear stairs shall be removed from the deck, and the deck shall have railings all the way around. There should be a dry well with roof leaders piped to it, and remove the front fence that's within the city right of way.
What about remove the driveway on the Summerfield and utilize the rocks for the new driveway on Prospect?
That's up to them. It's not a variance from the standpoint of impervious coverage. So what they do with those materials is up to them. They are removed. They're going to put in new curb cut. I'm sorry. They're going to be putting in new curbing on Summerfield to close off that driveway, and they're going to remove the driveway apron section between the sidewalk.
I just wanted to clarify it.
So what else they do with that, as long as they don't increase the impervious coverage and create a variance, they're okay with that.
And did you mention the HVAC?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes, okay. All right, so based on that, I'll make a motion to approve 1118 Summerfield Avenue application.
I'll second.
Wendy Glassman?
Yes.
Daniel Harris?
Yes.
Russell Lewis?
Yes.
Natalie Passerini?
Yes.
Jill Potter?
Yes.
Tim Slick?
Yes.
Vice Chair Scully?
Yes.
And Chairman Avalone?
Yes. And I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So,
Second?
Marie, just so we're clear on the record, who's the alternate?
Natalie Passerini?
All right, since we have 7 members, we have to limit to the 7 members. So, sorry, Natalie. Just for voting.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving.